So let's go ahead and get started here. I know inside the chambers is awfully empty, which is okay. We did send out an email just a few minutes ago. We are live on YouTube tonight, so a lot of the members are going to be able to watch this at home. It will also be recorded and put on our website as well. So if there's anybody you want to be able to watch tonight, go ahead and send them to uage.net. That's our website, and they'll be able to watch it live as this is going on. This is our first event. We're going to use it a lot as a learning event to learn how to do this better for, well, 2 years down the road. And our main goal on this, we did this as our bipartisan event because we believe as an organization that the educated voter is going to be the best voter, whether it's Republican or Democrat. Because we want to make sure we get all the issues on the table and introduce all of the candidates to our members and the public and public employees in general. I don't see Ray Lancaster, but I wanted to introduce her as well. She can pop in here. She is the president of UAGE. And as soon as she pops in here, I'll let her say a few things. While we're waiting for her, why don't we all, can you hear me outside okay? In the atrium? Okay, I want to start with a Pledge of Allegiance because I do think it's important that we recognize that, our right to be able to have elections like this and forums like this is because of where we live. And I want to also recognize the military, the armed forces, both abroad and at home, and also public safety that protect our rights to be able to do these kinds of things. And so if you can all arise for just a moment for Pledge of Allegiance, then at the end we'll pause for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. This is Ray Lancaster. She's the president of UAGE, and this is kind of her brainchild. She decided during the primaries we needed to have something to do to introduce the candidates to our members so they can make a good educated voice. I'll let her just say a few things before we get started.
Hi, I wanted to welcome everyone all the candidates that have agreed to be here. We're so glad that you were here, and everyone that is coming to listen to us. I've grown up in politics, and I realize how important it is to vote. It is your constitutional right, and you should make educated choices, and this is our avenue to do that. So welcome, everyone. Sit back, relax. We'll put the candidates on the hot seat, and hopefully we learn something.
Okay, so to get started here quickly for the candidates, just a couple simple rules is, of course, you come up here, talk about your campaign, introduce yourself. You'll each have 2 minutes to talk. We have Kelly up in the front here, and she'll be our timekeeper. She has a yellow card. She'll hold up when you have about 30 seconds left. Then she'll just put it down and say stop when you're done. So, of course, finish up your final thoughts on that. And so it really is that simple. And with that, Jenny Wilson, we'll go ahead and have her come up to the podium. We're going to go through the council members first, going through the districts, and then we'll go to the elected officials after that. We're going to follow through the program as it's written. So with that, we'll introduce Jenny.
Is this on? Hi, everyone. It's great to see you. Great to be with you. My name is Jenny Wilson, and I am a candidate for the at-large seat on the Salt Lake County Council. And Randy Borucci is retiring, so that seat is vacant. I did serve previously as a member of the Salt Lake County Council in an at-large position as well, and that was a different slot. It was the one that Richard Snellgrove now holds. I served there from 2004 to 10, going into office in 5 and leaving at the end of 2010. So there for one term, and then I took a job up at the University of Utah that was pretty demanding, so I stepped down. And after a few years up there, I realized I was still interested in county business, and I was still interested in maintaining a link to the community as it related to the county. And I realized what a great time I had had in that role. So I decided to sign up again when Randy decided he wasn't running. So that's why I'm back today as a candidate and looking to receive your support and the support of the other many employees at Salt Lake County. One of the things that I look back on that I think is important that I was a participant in before and I would do again is making sure that when the budget comes before the council, that we consider the employee compensation up front. And that's something that I think makes sense because we don't want to do it on the back end after all the funds have been spent. We want to look at the COLA level and compensation and the methodology and the health insurance up front. And that, I hope, is still in place. If it's not, I will forcefully work to bring that back. And if it is, I will help to maintain that because I think that's an important element. You all are working hard in various areas, and really the county can do nothing without its people. So that's key. Also, I worked to raise the minimum wage. We did a survey of the lowest paid workers at Salt Lake County and found that there were people in the library system who were working full time who were able to bump up the wage quite a bit, and I think that makes a big difference. So I feel it's important that we have a living wage at Salt Lake County. We have good benefits. I know healthcare cost is an issue, and it's one that I will continue to do everything I can so that we're not passing on higher premiums and less health insurance to the employees. Lastly, I was instrumental, and you have to keep it bringing it up, but we finally passed health care coverage for the gay and lesbian employees partners. It's not fair when on one side of the room you have an employee with 5 or 6 kids, on the other side no. And so I was happy to pass that. My time's up. 2 minutes goes fast, but thank you very much, and I have information down the hallway. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Micah. And real quickly for the candidates, we are broadcasting, like I said, on YouTube. You can look down here to see if you're still in view of the camera, right from here. More pressure.
Well, thank you for being here. I am Micah Bruner, running for the at-large seat, County Council at-large A. I'm running to bring a new approach to this seat. I think there are 3 things that we don't have at this seat, in the seat right now, and that is somebody who's more representative of the people as a whole, somebody who's more responsible with our money, and somebody who's going to fight for government that's more restrained from meddling in our business. I want to speak specifically to the middle, my middle prong, and that is responsible government. I think we need to ensure that as the county government takes money from people through taxes, that money is being spent wisely and appropriately. And a lot of that concerns those of you here in this room, because I believe that we need to ensure that we're delivering a quality product to the citizens of Salt Lake County at a price tag that we can afford. That means that we need to ensure that we are providing sufficient compensation for those who work at the county so that it's a viable alternative to the private sector. So we're attracting the best minds, the best people to come, and even if they don't want to, at least this is a viable alternative for them to explore as they seek and as you seek your employment options. I am a Salt Lake County lifelong resident, lived here my entire life, well, for the most part. Grew up in Salt Lake City. My wife and I currently live in West Valley with our 3 young kids. We, after I graduated law school, we had the opportunity to go to Alaska and clerk for the Superior Court. And after that year, we had the opportunity to make our life up there or to return home. And we decided, we really wanted to come back here to Salt Lake County to raise our family here because we believe that this is one of the best places in the world to raise our family. We want to ensure that our kids got to enjoy everything we did as we grew up here in Salt Lake. And a lot of that comes from the services that are provided by you here in this room. And so I thank you for your service. Thank you for your time today. And I would appreciate your support this October, November, especially November 4th. I'd appreciate your vote. Again, my name is Micah Bruner, running for Salt Lake County Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Micah. Now, I think up next, Arlen Bradshaw, but I don't know if I've seen him show up or not yet. Do we have Richard Barnes? Is he here? Okay, so Arlen's coming in the back, and he's next on there, so we'll get you as soon as Arlen's done. And candidates, if you want to use the podium mic, either one is good.
I'll use the podium because I'm out of breath because I was standing out there and heard my name. So I apologize for coming in a little late. I was chatting out in the foyer. My name is Arlen Bradshaw, and I represent District 1 on the County Council, which is most of Salt Lake City proper, as long as you're west of 13th East. Then I go clear to the Tooele County line, basically all of the city of South Salt Lake, and the northwest corner of West Valley City. So do any of you live in my district? My opponent does, and I got one more. So, yes. Oh, and Mike does, that's right, another candidate. Well, quickly, I'll just, a little bit about my background. I am running for re-election for the first time to the county council. I was first elected in 2010. Prior to being a member of the county council, I actually was staff to then Chairman Joe Hatch. And that was really my introductory to county government, is under his tutelage for a number of years. And was very much schooled by he and some of our other elected officials about the importance of our county employees. And since this is a UAGE event, I think that's what I'll focus on just really briefly a bit. I think that we run the best government in the state, and it's because of the employees of this county that we are able to do that. And my position has always been, as a member of the county council, to support our employees in a fair way, and particularly through the compensation that you receive. I believe by and large we compensate our employees fairly. However, as many of you know, what's my exact time limit? All right, 2 minutes. I can wrap up in 2 minutes. As many of you know, that we, during the last recession, our employees balanced the brunt of our budget in terms of the compensation reduction. And I was proud to lead the fight to restore that in our last budget. And we'll always look to ensure that we bring our employees whole and support them. And I am definitely open to questions when the time comes. But now I'll give Richard a chance to introduce himself. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Richard Barnes, and I'm the Republican candidate for Salt Lake County Council, District 1. Thank you for your service as employees of Salt Lake County. You may or may not know, I'm the designer of the Salt Lake County tartan. We're the first county in the entire United States to have our own officially recognized county tartan based on the robe of Moses from the Ten Commandments. I worked for 8 years, worked my way through college at the old Salt Palace. I was an usher, then ticket taker, elevator operator. If there wasn't blood on the floor at the end of the concert, it was a good concert. I also am an elections judge, TST, been doing that for about 10 years. And hey, thanks guys, thanks to the firefighters that are out there fighting the flames, and wildfires, the police officers, our elections officials. I think we do a pretty dang good job here in Salt Lake County. They say that the tax value is worth more Salt Lake County alone than the rest of the state put together monetarily. Although I sure love our wilderness areas, the parks. Let's keep our canyons pristine. Let's protect the water supply. Let's keep the roads all nice and going smoothly. As far as compensation, a lot of things don't have to be an issue. Let's make it as much cash as we can and fewer benefits, so it doesn't matter whether you're married, single, or whatever other preferences, religious or otherwise, you may have. So those just don't become an issue. It's we, the people of Salt Lake County. Thank you for being here today. My phone number's on these. I've got more of these, 801-521-4400. My name is Richard Barnes. I'm your Republican candidate. I'm here to listen. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Richard and Marlon. So coming up next, Amy Winder Newton. I don't know if I've seen her here or not yet. Oh, here she is. And then you have Dan Snarth. Just be ready right after Amy.
Good evening. First of all, thank you for being here and for taking the time to find out about the candidates and to do your due diligence in the process. We really appreciate that. My name is Amy Winder Newton, and I was elected to the County Council about 9 months ago. When David Wild stepped down, I was elected to fill the rest of his seat. And so I have been serving you for the last 9 months. It's been a privilege. And one of my favorite things about Salt Lake County is our great employees. And it's been a privilege to get to know you. As I was elected, we took the time to go to every office that we could to meet the employees there and to find out about each
of our independent electeds and also our divisions and what happens in Salt Lake County. Just a little bit about me. I'm the mother of 4 children. My kids' age ranged from 18 down to 10. And I'm a small business owner. I have a communications consulting firm. And before I ran for this seat, I was the communications director for Taylorsville City and had a few other clients as well. And when I was approached by a few people to run for this, my husband and I we talked about it and we thought, man, we're maxed out. We've got a lot going on. But I was always taught that you give back and you serve your community, and I believe in the future of Salt Lake County. And so we thought about it, and I decided to put my career on hold and to step down from my seat or my position with Taylorsville City and also my other clients and put full-time focus into the county. And so one of the things I've enjoyed doing is coming to as many events as I can to get to know you. I've loved learning more about different things like our foster grandparents program and drug court and things I've been able to attend. And I've enjoyed being able to give you my full attention along with my family. I believe that Salt Lake County has some challenges ahead of us. We are expecting our population to double in growth over the next 30 years. And that's some challenges that we need to be ready for. We need to be looking at things that we can do to prepare. So thank you.
Thanks, Amy. Dan Snar, County Council, District 3. I think I had the most unique opportunity of serving as the mayor for the last 16 years to balance 16 budgets. And I will tell you, one of the most sensitive things I had to deal with was making sure that we had fair and adequate compensation for our employees. That was very difficult for me. I think we did a good job making sure that they had good benefits. We really watched our insurance premiums that they had to pay. But I will tell you this, and some people say you're never supposed to say this, but obviously the legislature said, Murray, you're a little bit too wealthy. Your property tax is the very lowest in the very city. We're not happy about that. They redistributed the sales tax with the new formula, which required that I went into the council and they wanted to raise it 30%. I said, no, 40.2.5 is the number to hold us whole. And I said, I want to raise those taxes so we can keep our employees here. And I made a big issue of it. Finally, they came around and I said, these are our most valuable assets. Let me tell you what I did as the mayor. I think a lot of you know I own some properties in the Murray, and I take care of them. Well, I go out and plow my own property still. I see the employees from the power department, the water department, the sewer department, the storm drain department, the road department out doing their work at night. And when we see a broken water line or power lines that were down, I would stop and personally thank them for their service to our city. I said, our citizens know that you are where the rubber hits the road. They see you a lot more than us as elected officials. And so I started a program, it's 30 seconds. I started a program to recognize in the second year I was mayor, and I do it in my council meetings where the mayor had an opportunity to speak. And I'd always make sure that those employees who would receive emails on, or letters, or phone calls were recognized. Then we graduated to giving them a certificate. We did that, and then with the approval of the council, we started to have employees throughout the year that were recognized. You know, my employees told me time and time again, you care about us because you're there for us, and we feel like you've done a great job trying to make sure we're adequately compensated. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy, again. So Steve, you brought out a earlier commitment, so we have Brian. Not your last name, Brian. Maxwell. Brian Maxwell will come up here and tell you a little bit about Steve.
Thank you for having me here. Councilman DeBry sends his regrets. He had a long-planned family vacation this week, so he can't be here, but he asked me to come represent him. Let me tell you a little bit about Councilman DeBry. He serves District 5, which is the southwest quadrant of the county. That includes Harriman, Riverton, South Jordan, West Jordan, a little bit of Midvale, a little bit of Sandy. It's 9 cities, and so Riverton as well. He does a good job representing them. He's also somebody who understands county employee issues. Councilman DeBry was a sheriff's deputy for 28 years, and so he understands what it's like to watch as the council budgets and to be concerned about planning his own family budget based on outcomes that he couldn't guarantee and couldn't be sure of. And so he appreciates the need to put county employee compensation first on the agenda when a budget is undertaken. He strongly believes the most valuable resource of any organization, be that public, be that private, is the human resource. And so county employee compensation will always be taken first as long as he has a say. He's also been there for some hard times. He was elected after the recession began, but saw his employee compensation was reduced during those budget cuts, and he pledged to bring employee compensation back as soon as possible. He did that in concert with other council members. And if you look, there was a time when the county council could not improve compensation for employees after the recession, but had the opportunity to vote for a merit recognition bonus, which he did, which was $500. He realized what a difference that would make to many county employees and broke with some of his caucus members to cast that vote because he knows how critical it is for employees to receive their compensation. And so you can count on Councilman DeVry to look out for the human resource here at the county whenever possible. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Brandon. So that is our council members, the ones that are running for office. We definitely want to thank them all for coming here and spending their evening with us. We're going to go ahead and move on to the elected officials. We're going to do a slight change in the order of that. Gary Ott had a commitment that came up today, so he's hoping to be here. He sent me an email earlier. And so we're going to move Mary and Gary to the end. We're going to go ahead and get started with Kevin Jacobs and Tyler Andrus running for the assessor's office. We'll go ahead and start with Kevin.
It's great to be here with you tonight. I appreciate everyone taking the time and clearing your schedule tonight to attend and learning more about the candidates. I am Kevin Jacobs. I'm the Salt Lake County Assessor. I've been the assessor for 1 year. I was elected by the Republican Central Committee to fill Lee Gardner's unexpired term. A little bit about myself. My wife and I live in Riverton. We've been there for about 30 years. We raised our children there. We've been involved in the community and schools and everything our kids have done. And at this point in my life, it's just natural that I get more involved in the office and in the community, and that's why I'm here today. I've served in the assessor's office for 24 years. I've been manager since I came to the office, first as a fiscal manager, then as director of administration. I've been a director of motor vehicles, and I've served as a chief deputy. I have a great staff. We have 105 employees. We value 350,000 parcels on an annual basis. Market value of those parcels are $120 billion. As someone said earlier, I think it was Richard, that the value of Salt Lake County is about half of the entire state. So it's a big job, it's a very demanding job. We value homes, small businesses, downtown office buildings, ski resorts, hospitals, hotels. All those things are done by the county assessor's office. It's a very challenging and demanding job. We have the widest variety of any assessment jurisdiction in the state, and we do the best job. We have not only statistics from the state tax commission that show we do the best job in the state, but we also have an appeal rate of less than 2%, which is outstanding for a jurisdiction this size. I love my employees, love the office. We do a great job there. I expect a lot of my employees, and they always come through and deliver more than I ask them to do. They're very dedicated, very committed to what they do. They do a great job, and I appreciate them all very much. One of the employees I have is actually my opponent. He is not able to make it here tonight, but he has a very responsible job, and we think the world of time. So, again, my name is Kevin Jacobs, Salt Lake County Assessor. I ask for your vote on November. Thank you very much.
Well, I don't know what to do if they don't show up. Maybe Kevin gets to come talk for Tyler. The next two up is going to be the auditor's office, so that would be Scott Tingy and Jeff Hatch. Scott?
My name is Scott Tingley, and I'm running for Salt Lake County Auditor because I believe it's time we elected an auditor for County Auditor. And usually I get a lot of funny looks and sideways glances when I say that, but it's true. 2 years ago, the state legislature changed state statute that covers the county auditor, basically to make it more in line with how auditors operate in the private world. And those of us like myself in the audit profession, we're really excited about those changes and the opportunity to lead the county auditor's office in a new direction. Tell you a little bit about myself. I currently work for the county assessor as the personal property audit manager, but I also spent a number of years in the internal audit division where I got to meet many of you through audits, and hopefully it was a good relationship and a good working relationship, and that's something that I want to bring back to the auditor's office. I have a master's degree in accounting. I'm a certified internal auditor and also a certified government auditing professional. And when I first decided to choose auditing as my profession, I wanted to focus on government auditing because I thought that I could make a real difference and make an impact for the better. Right now, the auditor's office, I was asked by UAGE to answer a question of how electing me would benefit the counties, the employees of Salt Lake County, and also the citizens. And right now, the auditor's office is failing to provide the statutory duties that the office is charged with. I want to bring back audits that make a difference and that make an impact. I want to work with county agencies and with county organizations instead of against them. And I wanted to speak specifically to the employees of the auditor's office. I want you guys to be proud of where you work and proud of the work that you do for the county and know that it makes a difference and that you're making an impact for the better for Salt Lake County. So, my name is Scott Tingley. I'm running for Salt Lake County Auditor. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jeff Hatch. I'm running for Salt Lake County Auditor as a Democrat, and I want to have three reasons really that I think I should receive the nod for your vote. That would be leadership and teamwork and experience. I'll start with the last one first. I received an MBA from Columbia University and went into business for a closely held broadcast company and served in capacities related to accounting and finance for a good share of my career. And in that position, I supervised the company audits for some 25 years. So I had close involvement with auditing as well as with accounting and financial management. I became very interested in the auditor's office after helping Peter Caroon get elected, and realized that there was a great opportunity for that office to expand its role throughout county government, that it had really been isolated from the other offices in county government and was not as effective as it could be as a result. I took advantage of the leadership experience that I had had. As soon as I stepped into the office, I was on the debt review committee, and we were evaluating the county participating with funding Real Salt Lake to the tune of $15 million. And I studied the issue along with people throughout the county and came to the conclusion that it was not a good investment for the county. Unfortunately, that turned around with Governor Herbert in the legislature. But I had some terrific teamwork, not only with the employees in the office, who were delighted to have someone who was there at work every day, working with them, getting problems solved, but also with the other elected officials, and had bipartisan support for two major projects of replacing antiquated computer systems in the area of financials and property tax that we were successful in getting bipartisan support for. Again, my name is Jeffrey Hatch, running for Salt Lake County Auditor. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott and Jeff. The next one that's going to be coming up is for the county clerk, and we have Wanda Amon, am I saying that correct? Amon, and Sherry Swenson, and Wanda will come up first.
Good evening. My name is Wanda Amon, and I'm running to be the next Salt Lake County clerk. I would be honored to be your clerk in Salt Lake County. The clerk oversees the elections. I spent 30 years in Salt Lake County working for top companies and managing departments. I have a degree in business economics from the U, and during the 2012 elections, I toured the country and I oversaw caucuses and polling locations, and I saw a lot of good things out there that we're not doing here, and I saw a lot of bad things. And I came back and I did some research. We have election experts in the state. We have a Democrat up at the U and a Republican in the Lieutenant Governor's office. And what I found is that we need new energy in the Salt Lake County Clerk's office. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. After 24 years, we're reactive than being proactive in elections. Elections are under a microscope right now in the country. We need to be a leader of cost-effective elections in this county. Voter turnout in the primary was less than 10%. We need to get voters excited about voting, and I think the way that we can do that is to give voters information about the candidates in one place. I will put on my website information about all the candidates, Republican, Democrat, I don't care. You'll have early access to their information and the issues that are on the ticket right away, so you won't have to hunt it down yourself. We need to build on what the clerk, I will build on what the clerk has done in 24 years. These are worker hands. Please put these hands to work for you in Salt Lake County. Thank you for your vote, and my election is on November 4th, and I really would appreciate your vote for Wanda Amon, Salt Lake County Clerk. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Sherry Swenson. I'm your county clerk, and I want to tell you it's been a great privilege to be in this office and work for employees in Salt Lake County. I am always in awe of the dedication of the employees that I have. I oversee the elections, marriage, passport, and council clerks for Salt Lake County, and I have always tried to make the working environment in Salt Lake County a very happy place to work. When I first took office, there was an employee in my office that was a grade 9. Now, you know what that means for those of you who work for the county. And I immediately said, this is unacceptable. And I had a desk audit done. And she was immediately advanced to a grade 13, which is still quite low. But she came into my office in tears and said, every time she asked for her career ladder to be advanced or for a review of her position, they said, we don't have money in the budget. I can tell you that those positions through the years I've been able to upgrade. They're now in that same working environment. My marriage deputy's at 21. And so I just want you to know that I care about the employees. As far as elections, I do have the most innovative website, and the Lieutenant Governor's office does have information about candidates. They have gathered it so there is a central location for profiles for candidates. And I just really value the employees of Salt Lake County. I will continue to work hard to make sure that their pay is equitable and that their upgrades in their jobs are classified and regularly reviewed as they should be. Thank you for all you do. I admire you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry and Wanda. And probably a good time to say really quickly that we do have out the UAGE table. If you're not registered, you can register tonight and either drop it in the mail or give it to us. We'll take it over to the clerk's office tomorrow. And we also have the mail-in ballots as well. If you want to sign for the mail-in ballots, you can do that as well too. I mentioned this early on, we're doing a raffle. If you haven't got a raffle ticket there at the UAGE table, you can get that. And I want to tell you some of the sponsors that helped us put this together tonight. We have the Cheesecake Factory. They gave us a $25 gift card. Famous Dave's gave us $30 of Big Bucks. Maverick gave us a $10 gas card, and Coldstone Creamery gave us a $15 gift card. I'm going to go ahead and, if you have your raffle tickets, give away the first one, and it'll be available at the desk there. The ticket number is 481821, and that's going to be for a Maverick gift card. That number again is 481-821. And with that, let's go ahead and jump to the district attorney. Steve Nielsen got tied up, so he can't be here tonight, but we have for him Sandy Johnson, who's going to come down and talk a little bit about him, and when he's done, Sid, just go ahead and come down.
My name is Sandy Johnson. I'm a prosecutor in the Salt Lake County District Attorney's Office, and I'm here on behalf of Steve Nelson, who's the unit chief of the violent felonies in the District Attorney's Office. So when I'm talking, I want you to imagine me about 1.5 feet taller, much better looking, and much nicer looking, and better dressed. I unexpectedly had to step in for Steve because Steve's a prosecutor, not a politician. And that's why he can't join you tonight. For the last 2 days, he's been doing an attempted aggravated murder trial, where a citizen attempted to stab a police officer and kill that police officer. And right now, Steve is waiting for the jury to come back, so we've got democracy at work, and Steve is there waiting for the jury to deliberate and determine whether or not he's proven his case. So he regrets not being able to be here, but the jury trial was slightly more important tonight, and the judge probably would have held him in contempt, which I believe. So the two questions that we've been asked to talk about is what would happen for you as a citizen and as a county employee or a government employee if Steve were to be the next district attorney. So I'll start with as a citizen. First of all, as a citizen, what will happen is if you elect Steve Nelson as district attorney is Steve gets results. He's a working prosecutor. He's not going to go talk about philosophies and systems and things like that. He knows what works and what doesn't work because he's been doing this for 11 years. He's been doing felony prosecutions for the last 8 years. And part of what works and what doesn't work, for example, is domestic violence. Right now, you guys probably all heard pervasive in the news about the things that have been going on in the NFL and how tragic domestic violence can be. There's been 2 homicides in the last week related to domestic violence. The current district attorney's office does not have a domestic violence team. And that's been the only thing proven to work to combat domestic violence. And if Steve is elected, he will bring back a domestic violence team, along with a DUI team and other things that actually work. The other thing that's important is relationships, and that's where it comes into as government employees. 2 years ago, as a government employee in the district attorney's office, I learned that the current administration tried to take away my merit status. They created legislation, they didn't talk to the employees, they typed up the legislation, they got sponsors for the legislation, and they even got to the point where they were about ready to run it. And Steve is in support of the merit system, and he also has the support of all the employees, firefighters, police officers, UPEA. I know they're a rival, but UPEA is endorsing him. And if you want to know what really goes on, ask an employee. They'll tell you. Thanks.
Good evening, my name is Sim Gill. I'm the current Salt Lake County District Attorney. I've been a public prosecutor for over 20 years. I prosecuted in Layton City, Salt Lake City, and Salt Lake County. I worked for about 4 or 5 years with the arson fraud unit, was finished up by doing about a year at the tail end of that with the civil side, then was appointed as the chief city prosecutor for Salt Lake City. I'm a fiscal conservative. And I am a person who believes in changing paradigms to create a better criminal justice system. So I'm a huge fan of therapeutic justice models. I helped start the very first mental health court in the state of Utah. I've supported creating multiple therapeutic justice model programs which are cost effective, give us better return on our recidivism rates. The main issue, one of the main issues that I've focused on the last 4 years has been an issue that relates to employees' issues dealing with compensation. When the previous mayor was here, we met with the previous mayor as the county attorney's office. We talked to them, we explained to them that the compensation package, that the structure that we had was not sufficient. When the new mayor came in, we raised the same issue with them. We've raised the same issues with the council. And as a result of that, those conversations, we have for the first time a committee that's been an RFP that just went out that our attorneys worked on to start addressing the issue of a system check of how to create better compensation. What are the main core issues that we need to be looking at is beyond just just talking about we're going to do more is there are problems with our compensation system. What is the market? What is the market value of compensation? What is the pay ranges within that? How do we move people inside? What are the pay equity issues? What are the pay compression issues? These are all relevant issues that we have championed and continue to support. Because for us, it's more than just simply talking about it. When I came in, our attorneys were not getting paid what I thought was appropriate market. And as a result of that, we raised their salaries from about the low 50s to $68,000 at entry level. And we did that within our structure, within the rules that we have. My office is committed to compensation issues, technology upgrades. We're working on creating a new building so we have better conditions for our employees. Those are the things that we believe in. Those are the things that we have worked on and supported for the last 4 years. They're not theoretical to us. Those are yielding practical results. So my name is Sim Gill, Salt Lake County District Attorney. Appreciate your support. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Sandy and Sim. And I just want to clarify really quick, UPA is not a competitor or a compliment. I do believe that everybody should have a voice in the workplace, and if you're not happy with one of the other organizations, we can compliment each other. So let's see. We're going to push the recorder's office down unless Gary's here yet. I haven't seen him. So let's go ahead and jump right into the sheriff's office. We have Jake Peterson and Jim Winder. So Jake.
Thank you for the opportunity to come here tonight and to address the UAGE. I know that the UAGE, their goal, the vision is to bring dignity and respect to the lives of working people throughout the state of Utah. As I have looked at why I want to run for sheriff, a huge portion of that reason and that motivation is the people that I work with. I found out very early in my career that the best way to be able to take care of the public is to take care of the people who take care of the public. The only way that I could fulfill my oath as sheriff is to be able to stick my hand in the square and to know that taking care of the people who take care of the public is one way to do that. And one of the ways that I want to show that I'll do that is I'm going to take the time to listen to officers. Currently, the Unified Police Department has a Unified Police Federation. It was the Deputy Sheriff's Federation. That federation has endorsed me to be the sheriff's candidate here in Salt Lake County. They know that I will take the time to listen to them. They know that I'm okay with differing ideas. The people that I work with are concerned with the same things that I am concerned with. Those things are robust benefits, making sure they have competitive pay, and very importantly, their working conditions, and they want a strong say. I am very comfortable with written agreements with the employee organizations that bind down and make very clear what we need to do in that relationship between administrators and the workforce. I'm very comfortable with working in that because it gives us first transparency and second accountability. And those things are good for the public and they're good for our police officers. I'd appreciate your vote this November. I'll be right outside if you'd like to chat with me more. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Jim Winder. I'm currently your Salt Lake County Sheriff. I've been so for 8 years. Let's talk about what I've done, not what I'm going to do. One of the things I did, I'm one of only one department heads in the county that authorized meet and confer statutes. I and the mayor are the only two portfolios in this county that agreed to that, and I did so voluntarily. I don't talk about collective bargaining agreements. I'm the only one that's agreed to do it. Secondly, when it comes to compensation, we had a situation, as Mr. Gill indicated, where there was an issue of diverting revenues for compensation. In last year's budget alone, I diverted $900,000 of my operational budget to wage increases. That was not monies that the county council gave me. That was monies that I found within my own operations to give to my employees to increase market rates. Next thing I did was go to the Utah legislature and we codified the Deputy Sheriff's Merit Commission, We are the only agency in the state of Utah that has legal protections for their discipline and grievance hearings, and that has also been migrated over to the Unified Police Department. I was the one that took that to the legislature and got that accomplished. Let's talk about retirement. When the Tier 2 fiasco came into play, I was the only law enforcement executive in the state of Utah to stand up before the Utah legislature and say, do not do Tier 2 retirement. There were two of us that went to that hearing. One of them was the International Association of Firefighters, and the other was myself. And we've seen the results of Tier 2 retirement. We cannot get recruitment, and we are struggling with retention because of poor retirement benefits. Lastly, this year, we are in the midst of a budget hearing in which I am going to once again divert revenues to solve the compression issues. I have members that are making the same wages at 5 years of service as a member who is 1 year of service due to the compression that was caused by the reduction in wages. We are going to divert $2.2 million if the council will allow us to solve compression issues. I'm not talking about what I'm going to do. I'm telling you what I have done. I would love to be your county sheriff for additional 4 years. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm going to give away a Cold Stone gift card, $15, and the ticket number on that is 481817. And really quickly, I'm going to give another plug for UAGE. I put into the program, in the middle there was a volunteer sheet, could be any color because I'm frugal, I just used my leftover papers. But whether you're a member or not, I'd like to ask you to consider to volunteer to make programs like this happen. I mean, they do take a lot of work, a lot more than you expect. It surprised me how much work it really did take to put this together. And as we get these committees put together and we get the community, whether it's labor, Republicans, Democrats, all of us working together to put programs like this together, I think we can make a bigger impact to those that are out there that aren't here this evening. So go ahead and fill that out, and you can return that out to our UAGE tables front as well. And with that, let's go ahead and Reed didn't reply if he wanted to say anything tonight or not. Is Reed here? Reed Dunham? Okay, Reed Dunham's not here. And so also really quickly, so all we have left is two more. Oh, and there was a few state candidates that sent me an email that said, hey, I'm interested in knowing what's going on. And I don't know how many, if any, are here. I know we have one representing a state candidate over here. But if you'll just stand up really quickly if you're a state candidate. And I don't want to, we don't have time for a long speech, but if you'll just say who you are or who you're representing, Republican, Democrat, and what district you're in. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Atkinson. I'm here on behalf of Sandra Hollins. I'm her campaign manager for her House District 23 race. She is a Democrat, and she appreciates supporting her vote.
Thank you. Any other state candidates or other candidates? Okay, so let's just keep on moving on then. Let's go ahead and move to the treasurer. We have Wayne Cushing and Mike Pike. And Wayne, if you'll come down, and then Mike, if you'll just follow him up. I'm turning the podium, so.
All right, hi, my name is Wayne Cushing. I'm the current Salt Lake County Treasurer, elected in 2010. In 2010, the buzzwords of that time were statutory minimum, which in the Treasurer's office means all investments go to the state. Anybody who wants tax relief has to come into our office to apply. And for property taxes, if you didn't pay your property taxes in 5 years, we sold your property. That was statutory minimum. So when we got in the office in 2011, we met with our employees and said, are you satisfied with statutory minimum? And they said, definitely no, we can do more. And so we talked about what we could do more. And one of the main things that we talked about was correcting addressing. Now, you know that when the auditor sends out their statement in July giving you an estimate of where your property tax is going to be, he would get a lot of bad addresses back. But they didn't have the budget to work those. And so then we would send out those same bad addresses in October and get the same addresses back, and then we would work on them. So they came to me and says, why don't we take the bad addresses that come from the auditor's mailing and work on them before we mail ours out? Simple, we did it, and it worked out tremendously. And what it did was we saw a significant increase in our collection rates. Now you say, what does that mean for you and me? Collection rates, the higher they are, the less taxes we have to bill in the future. So next time somebody comes to you and complains about their property tax in Salt Lake County, just tell them, you know, it would be $100 more if you had the collection rates of any other county. And that's because of just the ideas that we got from our employees. Now, we also, like I mentioned, have other areas that we work in. Investments. We did 3 minor changes to the investments on where we were putting the money instead of sending everything up to the state that brought in significant amount of extra investment earnings just by doing 3 minor things. And 4, tax relief. We are scouring the county currently to find those who qualify for tax relief. We've even gone to, or we're meeting with community leaders and leaders of charitable organizations in order to get that word out. Legislative statutory minimum is not good enough. We're a progressive office. We're excited about what we've done, but more excited about what we can do in the future. I ask for your vote. Wayne Cushing, Salt Lake County Treasurer. Thank you.
I'm Mike Fife. I'm running for Salt Lake County Treasurer. I'm running on 3 things: transparency, fairness, and experience. On transparency, what we need to be able to do is to go onto the Treasurer's website and easily see where the money is invested, what the return is that we're getting on that investment, and what the quality of that investment is. And currently, we don't see that information. On fairness, we need additional tools to compel large debtors to the county to pay their taxes. As Wayne said, you don't have to pay your taxes for 5 years, and some developers find that it's cheaper to borrow money from the county by not paying their taxes than to borrow money from the bank, so we need to close the Bank of Salt Lake County. The third thing is experience. I have an accounting degree and an MBA. I've worked for EDS and Hewlett-Packard for the past almost 30 years in corporate accounting and finance, corporate strategy, and I spent a short time, which is why I came to Utah, as the call center manager for Franklin Covey. So I have had 350 employees under me that I managed, and we had a great time together. I do a lot of volunteer work, and one of those things is germane to this discussion. When I became the president of the Zion Summit Homeowners Association, I found out that my employees didn't have health insurance, and so I worked with the board to make sure that our employees were all covered by health insurance, and that's the kind of focus that I'll have on employees as the treasurer of Salt Lake County, as I did as the president of the Zion Summit Homeowners Association. I hope you all will join with me, and you'll support me for Salt Lake County Treasurer, just as Mayor Ben McAdams is doing, and that all the labor unions that I've interviewed with have endorsed me as well. So I hope that I can get your support. Thanks.
So now I have $30 worth of pig butts from Famous Dave's. Excuse me, $25 worth of pig butts from Famous Dave's. In their little letter, they said they're putting the pork back into politics. And that ticket is 481-814. That again is 481-814. Did Gary Ott show up at all yet? So we have, is it Carmen? Is that correct? Okay. So Carmen's going to fill in for Gary Ott. So we have the reporter's office left, and then I'll say a few closing remarks here. And so we'll start with Mary Bishop, and then Carmen will come up and talk for Gary Ott.
Hi, everybody. I won't take much of your time. Mary Bishop, running for Salt Lake County Recorder. Just a touch about me. I'm a small business person for the last 30 years, so I've done a lot of hiring, training, working with people. Really understand that that's the basics of everything that you do. So I'm running to make your records accessible, make them safe, and we're going to be accountable. And we're going to do the same thing with employees, only we're going to respect, too. Because I think that's extremely important, that people know what it is that they're coming to work to do, and that they know they're not going to get yelled at, that they know that they're safe. So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure we have enough employees to do the work. I know there's a lot of talk about right-sizing. Do we have enough employees? That's a good question. We're going to do a lot of upgrading and modernizing under me because I would like to see this department open up so it becomes much more simple, affordable to the point of free to look up your property records. At any rate, that's who I am. Again, I won't take much of your time, but thank you so much. Hope you'll vote for me, Mary Bishop, for County Recorder.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here. I'm still hopeful Gary may show up, but I'm here now. So I'm pleased to be here to speak on behalf of one of the most remarkable men I know. Let me just give you a fun fact about Gary, which I think makes him unique to a lot of the candidates and most of the Republicans. Most of you probably don't know he was actually fired from a job for starting a union. He's been a longtime supporter of unions. He cares about his staff. He's worked very hard, even thinking outside the box on how to raise their wages, and has been able to do so in the 13 years he's been recorder. So I think that sort of goes to address what it is for you as employees. Now let me tell you what I think is important for the county, as you as citizens of the county. Gary was voted the 2014 Best of State winner in the elected officials category, and for good reason. Since he's been in office, he's cut his budget by 37%. That's money taxpayers don't have to come up with. 45% was cut in the operations area. He has right-sized his office so that he could get raises for the remaining staff. He's cross-trained. He's done everything he can. When he became aware that an appointed position, one of his staff, was being high-handed with the staff, he let her go immediately and brought in someone that I think they all like right now. And they're working very hard to undo the problems that was caused. He took a very expensive website, made it cost neutral by having subscribers. Now that's the website that Ms. Bishop wants to make public and pass on to the cost onto the taxpayers. Right now it's cost neutral. And by the way, all your records are free to look up if you come into the office. There is a cost on the website. But by having subscribers to the website, it protects your personal information. It keeps everybody in the world from being able to just Google you. So, so with that, I just ask you to consider voting for Gary Ott. Keep him your county recorder, and thank you.
So I have one more thing to give away, but I'm not going to do that until after I get to say my 2 minutes worth. But really quickly, the Maverick card, nobody picked that up. I just want to remind everybody it's 481-821. That's 481-821. And I just want to thank all of the candidates for being here tonight, because I know a couple of them replied and said that they had to move some things around to be here. There was a few that they just had real struggles to be here. And I think it's really, really important that when given the opportunity, we do address, not just the public, but the public employees that you're going to be bosses over. And I also want everybody that is here to learn more about candidates to understand that half of these people will be in office in a few months, half of them won't. And I think we need to understand that at the end of the day, the public has spoken and we need to support the candidates that win. Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever their party name is. And that's just what I want to close with there. And so then to sweeten everybody up at the end of the night, I have a Cheesecake Factory gift certificate. It's $25, I think, but don't quote me on it. And that number is 481-814. And again, I just want to thank everybody again for coming tonight, especially the candidates, because it does take time out of their very busy schedule. I know there's a couple of other events going on tonight as well. Thank you.